What goes on, everybody? Erica here again with yet again another one. Yeah, another one. This video is very personal for me, but I'm pretty sure it'll resonate with a lot of you. This video is talking about manipulation, manipulators. Okay, what's a manipulator? Well, a manipulator is what my father would use in terms of saying a perpetrator, someone who has very bad intentions and someone who pretty much will stop at nothing to gain certain outcomes that reach their desired goals and go against what it is that you deem logical, what it is that you deem fair, and what it is that you deem desirous. Stay tuned. The common outcome of manipulation is where the perp makes the target or the victim feel extremely uncomfortable, that if they don't perform certain duties or certain things that the perp deem necessary, it's wrong, it's bad, it's unheard of. Okay, but manipulation has a hidden agenda. It has a hidden agenda against straightforward communication. And it has to be covert because it serves the manipulator's interest. Against what the target really wants. Remember, a manipulator is all about themselves. They're very selfish. So they don't give a damn what it is they have to do or the lengths they have to go through to be able to get what it is that they want. So guys, I'm going to give you the list of different types of manipulators, okay? The tactics that they use and, some advice on what you can do to fight against it, to protect yourself from it, and possibly even look out for the red flags before you even get too involved in it, right? So pay attention to this list. You never know, you might be going through it right now, all right? The guilt tripper. The guilt tripper makes you feel guilty, especially in order to induce you to do something for the manipulator. Prime example is they would say, if you loved me, you would do X, Y, and Z. Here's a simple solution to that. Don't cave in. Stick with what you feel to be morally right and simply respond. Well, I'm sorry you feel that way. Always stick with what you believe to be right. If your gut is telling you something, and if it's telling you that it just isn't right, 9 out of 10 times, your gut is telling you the truth. Stick with what you believe in. Don't cave in. The silent treatment giver. The silent treatment giver usually withdraws communication, emotion, and even sex from their target until he or she accomplishes the manipulator's demand. General tactic would be controlling the partner's behavior by fear of disconnection, fear of rejection, and even fear of abandonment. 9 out of 10 times, this is done to a person who's extremely codependent, is very insecure, and has little to no self-esteem. How do you fight it? You got to beat them at their own game. Build up your strength. A game can only be played if there's more than one player. But if you decide not to play and walk away, there is no game. And a manipulator will do any and everything possible to try to get you back in to play that game all over again. But it's up to you to say no. No is a wonderful word. Don't ever be afraid or ashamed to say it. The threatener. The threatener usually makes threats to keep their victim in line. They often use blackmail to destroy anything important, physical threatening, yelling to gain control and instill fear. This is what gives the manipulator their so-called power, when they feel that they can threaten you just to kind of keep you in line with them. 9 out of 10 times when you are being emotionally, mentally, and even physically manipulated, it does work. But you have to rebuild that strength to be able to get up and leave, especially if they're threatening you physically. You have to get outside help and really, really walk away without looking back. It's hard, I know, but you know what? What's more important? Your health, your well-being, your sanity, your peace, or staying in a relationship with a manipulator, whether it's intimate or not, and being pummeled to the ground. Don't do it. It's not worth it. The self-esteem attacker. Usually the manipulator does this to undermine your self-esteem. They'll put you down. They'll give you labels, pass judgments, and to make you feel inferior. Covert ways of insulting you. You feel belittled and ashamed. Do what the manipulator expects of you to do to avoid disrespectful treatment. The self-esteem attacker basically uses these tactics to really bring you to a point where you feel as if you can do no better than them. Already, if you have low self-esteem, or within yourself you have low self-esteem, they'll use these tactics against you to hurt you, to feel superior while you feel inferior. So, how do you fight it? First, realize it's just a tool to control you. Manipulator doesn't even believe it themselves. Second, don't take any disrespect from anyone. Manipulation fire will only grow if you feed it fuel. So if you give it the power, it's going to grow to the point where it's going to overpower you, and even you won't be able to get out of it. Remember, it's all psychological. It's all mental. That's all it is. None of it is true. Manipulation is what it is. Simply a lie. All lies. You don't have to believe any of it. The excessive criticizer. Now, in some cases, criticism can be useful. Excessively used is a tactic to make you feel inferior. It's to make you feel less of a person. Weakens your confidence and self-reliance. And victims feel inferior and allow themselves to be controlled to avoid criticism. Again, they will use this tactic to bring you down. That's the whole purpose of a manipulator's purpose. It is to bring you down to a point where you have to look up to them. You have to succumb to them. You have to submit to them. Understand, it is all an illusion. None of it is real. And the sooner you begin to realize that, the faster and the sooner you get out of that situation. The competitor. Now, this tactic stems from childhood, where parents create competitive dynamics and, forget compromise. There's always a winner and a loser. Where there's competition, there's always a loser. And this instills in a manipulator that there is no compromise. They won't compromise with you. They will not bring themselves to your level because that's pretty much what they've been taught. Competition in a relationship is not healthy. It's not healthy. It's uncalled for. And quite frankly, it's not necessary. It's supposed to be 100-100. So understand, if you find yourself in a relationship where the other person or the other persons are competing against you, just explain to them this is not a competition. If they still want to continue with those tactics, again, gladly forfeit and walk away. So guys, I hope that this was helpful for you. Just understand this well. These are covert tactics that are used by a manipulator. Not to be confused with a codependent person. A codependent person is similar to a narcissistic person in that they've had the same type of upbringing, but the codependent person carries empathy and sympathy and just wants to fill that void of love. Narcissistic person is just purely someone who needs to be validated, so much so in a point that they will do any and everything to get that validation, which includes manipulating people in a very covert way, very stealthy. So I have another video on narcissism that I'm going to upload, and I really want you guys to really understand it. All right. So I hope this helped. Stay safe. Protect your energy.